Welcome back to our journey through wisdom and the Proverbs. We find ourselves in chapter 6, starting at verse 6. And just to recap a little bit of the last video for you, being able to say this is the 8th address from father to son. But this 8th address has 4 different subsections. And it has a way of being able to say, as our last video said, that you have given yourself indebtedness into a neighbor or a relationship, and you have to find your way out of that. You have to free yourself from that. Being able to say, your relationship with God is going to be able to direct you and being able to understand how you can be in that. And that's to be humble and be able to maybe sacrifice a little bit in being able to bring about that indebtedness to that other. And this next subsection, starting in verse 6 of Proverbs chapter 6, from father to son, the 8th address still, but we get to see him saying that I'm doing the subtitle here, is that wisdom is not compatible with laziness. Wisdom is not compatible with laziness. You find yourself in debt, and you want to be able to be freed from that. You don't just sit there. You don't just, if you're in debt and being able to see of how you're going to get out of debt, whether you talk about monetarily or in relationships, what do? You go to work. You go to work on those relationships. You go to work and earning that money to be able to not be able to be in that debt, to free yourself. There has to be work done. It's not just going to fall out of the sky. It's not going to just happen that God's just going to create a miracle in so many ways. He could do that. In some cases, he does do that for people. But in our everyday wisdom of Christ, as Paul puts it to the Thessalonians, as I'm going to read at the end of this, being able to say, let not idleness be a part of our daily lives. That's not wise. That's folly to be idle and to not do the work that God has for you. So what a day that we have today, to not be idle, but to do the work that God has for us to do. And the work that God has for us to do is to walk in the wisdom, to walk in the discipline, and to grow in the knowledge of, frankly, the saving nature of our Lord. And to be able to, practically speaking, get out of debt of relationships, get out of debt in business, get out of debt monetarily, whatever is holding us down, that we work at it as we work for the Lord. And so we get to see here in verse 6 through 11, this subsection, a father to the son. And he gets to do a little bit of figurative language here as we get to see one of the incredible animals that God has created, the worker amongst us, and that is the ant. It doesn't remain idle. It goes to work every single day and does it because that's just what it does, and that's who we should be as well. And so verse 6, let's start reading together. It says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." Meaning that it should be self-discipline. Self-discipline. The Lord has saved you. And that is the incredible wisdom of the Lord. And to fear that knowledge of salvation gets us to, frankly, walk in the ways of our God. That he has put us into an order on this earth to work. Why does there need to be supervisors? Why does there need to be slave drivers in our life? That shouldn't be the case for us as Christians. We should do the work because God has enabled us to do the work. No supervision, although it's good to have leaders, obviously, as God has placed that into being. But being able to say, when there's work to be done, do the work. Trust. Have people trust you that you can do the work. The ant stores up for us, so it talks about, frankly, the saving nature, not the salvation saving nature, but the saving nature of the people. It is good to save so that you can have work and be able to be provided for in the future. However, Jesus commends this in the New Testament. Don't save up so that these savings become your God. He told the rich young ruler, being able to say, you have these bins full of grains and stuff, and they have become your God. So sell everything and follow me. And it was difficult. That was difficult because the provisions that God had given to him had become an idol. So let us not have the provisions or, frankly, the things that God blesses us with become our gods, but rather worship God and use those in our work to glorify him in what we do. And so is a good saving nature of the ant and for us as workers, that the glory should be directed towards God. It says this in verse 9, "How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. And poverty will come on you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man." We are not called to idleness. We are called to work. We have been placed in this earth to do the work that God established for us to do. Wherever we find ourselves working, in the home, out into our jobs, in our school, in our offices, we do the work of the Lord. And the work of the Lord is frankly the fear of the Lord, of being able to proclaim the gospel and how we live and how we work. And how we work in it with integrity and trust from others really gets us to understand and showcase our trust and integrity towards our Lord. And so this is what Paul wrote to the Thessalonians. I want to close with this. He says, "Now I commend you, brothers, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you keep away from any brother who is walking with idleness and not according to the tradition that they receive from us. For you yourselves know how it is necessary to imitate us, because we were not idle when we were with you." He's talking about the disciples and apostles here. That showed them, frankly, the work that needed to be done. "Nor did we eat bread from anyone for free, but with toil and labor we worked night and day, that we might not burden any of you. It was not because we did not have that right, but to give you ourselves as an example to imitate. For even when we were with you, we would give you this command: if anyone is not willing to work, neither let him eat. For we hear that some among you walk in idleness, not busy at work, but busybodies. Now, such persons we command and encourage in the Lord Jesus Christ, that while working quietly, they should eat their own bread." From 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, beginning at verse 6. And so, the simplicity of this proverb from chapter 6, 6 through 11, the Father is saying to the Son, wisdom is not compatible with laziness. It's not just great to just have wisdom and not do anything with it, but it is wise for us to receive the wisdom of the Lord and put it into action. And so, as Paul said also to the Ephesians, let us be fit with the readiness of the gospel on our feet. And our feet should be moving. Our feet should be working. Our feet should be going. That is what God has called us to. Not a life of laziness or just busybody, but a work that is frankly useful and beneficial for those around us so that they can see the hope that we have in Jesus Christ. Have a blessed day as you work for the Lord.